Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is a Tuesday's edition of Shagalinku TV. Apologies to everyone for us starting late. This is 2:31. We're supposed to start at 2, but you never can tell with technical issues and network. It's been a bit challenging here and there, and we're trying to connect to our guest, and we finally were able to get across to him. So without wasting much time, I'll just be saying that yes, for those of you who've seen our flyers, we'll be looking at youth development. What can countries all over the world, whether in Africa or in developed world, what can they do to tackle the issue of youth development? How can we begin to manage young people differently, take care of their welfare, their education, their needs, the skills they need to acquire in the 21st century. I have my guest here all the way from Namibia, and I'll be putting him on to introduce himself. But let me just say he's a youth development practitioner, and he's also in Namibia. So I'll just put him on and let him introduce himself. Hello, Oliver.
Thank you so much for inviting me to your platform. I'm so grateful for this platform you've given me for us to discuss what African countries can do to make youth development better. So I can start by saying that us as youth development practitioners working within the youth development sector should accept that we have failed our African youth due to our malpractices and maybe negligence and also maybe lack of skills and coordination in making sure that we make youth development better. That is the first point that I would like to say. And then I would like also to say when we talk about youth development, it's a sectoral kind of like different types of programs that are actually made together to develop the youth socially and economically. So youth development for it will work in Africa, especially now at a time where we have got the highest percentage of youth, or the highest population demography is the youth, the young people, because right now we know that 60% of the young people under 30 in most African countries are the young people, which is the youth. So like every government is being mandated or encouraged to invest more in youth development sector or in all that really facilitate and accelerate youth development. So I think I can move forward that youth development can actually work much better if the youth are taken as an asset rather than as a liability. So like kind of what we call development strategy. Strategy depends to, is it taking the youth problem or a liability, or is it taking the youth as an, like when your national youth development strategy takes views the youth as an asset, it means you really have got to invest in your assets so that you can reap rewards from those assets. That is like what in economic terms that actually happens. So that's what I can start by saying. Then you can ask me further any other question.
Okay, thank you very much, Oliver. For our viewers, let me inform you that we're streaming live from YouTube and Facebook. All is at Chagalinko TV. Just drop your comment on the comment section. Tell us what you think countries can do to improve youth development. Oliver is joining us all the way from Namibia. Oliver, what's the surname again? I'm trying to remember. Is it Mhuriro?
It's Mhuriro.
Mhuriro. Okay, Mhuriro. Okay, I interview people around the world, so I need to get their surnames
Yes, no
very
problems.
correctly. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, the comment section is there. Drop your comments. If you have questions for our guest, Mr. Oliver, he'll be responding to them. Okay, Oliver, let me even start with this. We're in the 21st century, and a whole lot has evolved and changed over time. Gone were the days where people didn't see education as a very vital role or key for youth development. Tell us what you think about education in Africa, because whether we like it or not, education is still on the slow side. A lot of youth still don't see the need to get education. They just feel, yeah, it's good to have skills, it's good to be equipped or talented in other fields, but in the 21st century, we can't overlook or underrate the position of acquiring education, as in the paper skill, the paper qualification rather. Well, a lot of countries here in Africa really are crazy about paper qualification. So what do you have to say about education as in paper qualification and young people? And then we'll come back to other forms of education, learning vocational skills, and mentorship and all that. What do you have to say?
I didn't really hear nicely the last part of your question because it's like our line is not so clear. I just heard you talking about education, like emphasizing on education, but I didn't really hear your question nicely. But I can say like skills and training and education is also one of the key areas of youth development each country is like targeting. Because if you look like, for example, South Africa, when they are talking about youth development, they always say that they cannot look at any other area that can bring much youth development to the young people other than education. That's why the South African is being always emphasized to invest more in education, both primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education. But now we also have problems of tertiary education. And a lot of tertiary education that the young people across Africa are actually on the labor market. So now we have a situation of the unemployed graduates. We have young people who are graduates, but they can not find jobs because the fields that in their education, those skills that they are demand market. As youth go back on the table that are lot of being taken by the young, which are on demand on the labor market, so that as soon as young people graduate, they are already being waited for within the labor market, so that they will not have a large gap of time whereby they graduate and they've spent like 5 years still looking for a job that is not sustainable. In the current situation in Africa, with high youth employment rate, this actually youth development is to produce as outcomes.
Okay, beautiful one. We're beginning to get messages here, and everyone watching can also drop their comments. We're looking at youth development, what countries can do to make it better. This is from Karim A. Jackson. Karim J. A. Jackson from Philippines, Asia, is saying, good to see you guys. Thank you, Karim. It's good to also know that you're watching us all the way from Asia. And you all can drop your comments, your questions for our guest, Mr. Oliver Mhuriro, and he'll be here to answer them. Okay, it's a pity you didn't hear the first part of what I was saying, although you've answered it. But I was asking that in the 21st century, many African youth still don't see the need for education, and many African countries don't also invest heavily on education. Um, are there issues around that? Why are African countries
I'm
not
struggling
still
to
investing?
hear.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? All right. So we're still on here. I'm actually also expecting Lady Funke to join us. We're looking at youth development. What can countries do differently to make sure they cater for the needs of young people? Okay. Education is one of them. Employment is another. But yes, the government or governments of different countries can't actually 100% do employment or tackle employment. They have to work with private partnership creating enabling environment so that um, companies can thrive, businesses can move on, and all that. So I was asking Mr. Oliver that what can countries do in terms of tackling education? Because the truth is, not everyone will be skilled savvy, so to say. Not every youth will have a skill, whether we like it or not. Not every youth also will want to go and do entrepreneurial ventures. There are some who just want to go to school, work. Yes, I know they say white collar job is no more available, it's very scarce and all that, but we still find young people whose passion is for um, the corporate world, so to say. So I was going to ask Oliver, if you come back, I want to ask whether what do you think about Africa investing in education? Because you find a lot of Africans go abroad to school. They go to other developed countries to school. Okay, Oliver, you're back. So can you hear me clearly now? Hello, Oliver. Okay. Oliver, can you hear me? So we're looking at what we can do, and countries as well, what they can do to make sure that there is space for youth development. And youth development goes a whole long way. It's a whole lot of things. Making sure there is an enabling environment for young people to take their spaces. Whether in terms of education, whether in terms of employment, whether in terms of skills acquisition. How are countries doing all this? So drop your comments in the comment section and we'll be reading them. We're having challenge with having Oliver join us. I think he's not hearing us. His network has been a bit really, really terrible. In fact, we've been trying to hook up with him since 2 o'clock. So we had to be changing, shifting the time of going on air, so we could get his audio clear, but it's still having challenges. But if you're watching us right now, please drop your comments in the comment section and tell us what you think we can do as a people and as a country in youth development. Okay. I got this one here from Victoria Umaru, and it says, Mr. Emmanuel, my mentor, you're really doing well and a great job out there. Thank you, sir. Okay, Victoria, you too. Thank you, ma. Thank you very much, Victoria. One of our very, very ardent and regular viewer. And thanks to Karin Jackson as well, who joined us all the way from Philippines, Asia. So you could drop your comments. We're asking, what can we do in terms of youth development? My guests seem to be having a lot of challenge with the audio. Oliver, can you hear us now? Hello, Oliver. Can you hear us now? Hello. Okay. While we still wait for Oliver to join us and to hear us, thank you very much, Victoria Umaru. It's been a while. Victoria, where have you been? Eh? Where have you been? You need to reach us.
Can you
Thank you, Victoria. I
hear
got this.
me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. And what about you? Can you hear me? Hello, Oliver. Can you hear me?
Okay, if you
Hello,
can.
Oliver. Yes, I would advise that you try and use another network just to be on the safe
Yes, I
side
can
because it's
hear you,
obvious.
but it's cutting off
Yeah,
at
your
times.
your network is your network is breaking, Oliver. So I'd advise if you have an alternative network, you just switch on to it and let's see how that works. Yeah, okay. So we're still waiting for you, Oliver. Just try and join us. And Let's see how it goes. Okay, Victoria came back a second time. She says, I'm in Makodi now. Oh, okay. I was in Makodi some time back. I would have looked for you and find a way of eating pounded yam and is it okoho soup they call it or something? Thank you, Victoria. And thank you for watching all the time. Even all the way from Makodi, you're always joining us. We really, really appreciate. Thank you so much, Victoria. I know we'll see you soon. Yeah. And Josh, Josiah Bayani Hamza sent in a message here, and it says, "Good day, brother. Um, one, our educational settings need revamp. It is putting the right structure on a wrong foundation. Two, community engagement and sense of belonging is zero. Three, there is no workable process. I think it's very, very right. A whole lot of courses that students do and come out, and then they can't find jobs, because they are forced to read courses that are not 21st century compliant. So we really need to revamp our educational system. I agree with you, Josiah. It's a strong one. Sometimes people still blame graduates, fresh graduates. They say they can't write simple letters, they can't do XYZ, they can't do a whole lot of things. But are we also not going to pass some of the blame to the institutions they pass through? I mean, they say a mirror is a society is a mirror or a reflection of its citizens. So students are also, if we take it that way, students are also a reflection of the schools they attended. Yeah, it may be debatable, but then we can't only solely pass the blame on the students. We really need a revamp of the educational system for people to learn courses that they will use for their employment and all that. Oliver, if you can hear me now, let's have you, but I'll advise that you switch to an alternative network so that we can have. Can you hear us now? Hello, Oliver. Hello,
But I
Oliver.
think next time we must on Facebook. Yes.
Your line
Yes,
is
I can hear
breaking.
you.
Okay, Oliver, take this message from one of our viewers and then maybe you respond to it. If you can see
But I
the
can
message
hear you
on the
now.
screen, yeah, please read this message on the screen and let's have your feedback or your response.
Yes, I read the
Your line is
message.
breaking again, Oliver. It's obvious the problem is from your end. Your line is breaking. Would really like you to, if you have an alternative network, please do switch on to it. We're also expecting Lady Funke Treasure. As soon as she's able to join us, we'll also bring her in. So yes, I agree with Josiah. I thought Oliver could respond to that, but it's obvious his network is a bit flicky. For Josiah, you raised three very pertinent issues. Yeah, our educational system needs to be revamped. I completely and totally agree with you. You said something about community engagement and sense of belonging is zero. Yeah, but I think for that, citizens have lost, touch, have lost trust with the government. So there's a disconnect between citizens and the government or governance, so to say. So over the years, the citizens have a huge trust. I mean, people go out to vote, so that's one trust for democracy. So when citizens go out to vote, and then when they see that leaders make promises before elections, and then after elections, they don't fulfill their promise. Citizens, on the other hand, lose or begin to lose trust and a sense of engagement or sense of belonging, like you say. They begin to lose it and drift from the leadership because they notice over the years, for instance, 4 years, leadership says, I'll give you XYZ if you vote me in. And then over 3 years, 3 years plus, you see that none of those promises or none of those things they campaigned using whatever mantra is provided. So yes, for that I can say why citizens could lose trust and why there is no sense of belonging or community engagement is as a result of citizens not having that trust anymore. And then the third point you said is that there is no workable process. I totally also agree with you because development is a process. You don't wake up any morning and hit development. Countries that are developed today started off gradually and consciously. Development is a conscious effort. So you don't just wake up one morning and assume that you could build castles in the air. Yeah. So and then is a continuation. So leadership come, leadership goes, but there should be a structure to keep development going. So it's like a leader meets a predecessor. You leverage and build on what that person had done before, and you continue from where he stopped. Another person comes, meet you, continues from where you stopped. So it's that way it builds up. But where you have instances where leaders come and they want to bulldoze and scatter off everything the predecessor has done, it's terrible. Okay. So yes, we're still waiting for Oliver. And Oliver, like I said, if you can hear me, please try an alternate network. Let's see, because it's obvious the issue is from your side. Your line is breaking. So please try another network, and I'll need you to read some of the messages here and respond to them. Yeah. And okay. Um, Victoria says, yeah, it's Okoyo soup, sir. Time you still come around. Okay, anytime you come around, I'll be your host. I don't mind. I like a lot of bushmeat from Benue. Anytime I go to Benue, I'm always looking forward to having bushmeat. But with these days of Ebola den and all that, I just stopped eating bushmeat, especially the famous rat from Benue. But then, Vicky, anytime I get to Benue, I will give you a shout out and see how we could see. It's been really a long while. Okay, so let's see if Oliver's network is stronger now. Can you hear me now? Hello, Oliver.
I can hear you.
Hello.
I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. It's just that you're going off and breaking off. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So let me take this other message again from Josiah, and it says in the UK we have NVQ courses. These are marketable short courses. Someone who didn't go to formal school can become a manager here. A friend from Nigeria is on his way to becoming a railway engineer, and I have many friends who are already in the university, okay, who are already engineers without formal university degree. You lock people in the university for 4 years and sometimes 8 years with strike, yet they come out with certificates that doesn't reflect the real life event happenings. I totally, again, totally agree and concur with you, Josiah. We need to revamp our educational system in Africa. We need to also revamp the courses, review the courses we do in the universities or in the higher institutions of learning, whether polytechnic, colleges of education, universities. technical universities, education universities, and all that. We really, really need to. So people don't box in themselves in courses near their passion. A lot of students in Africa are reading courses that are just close to their passion and not exactly what they want to do. And I completely agree with you, Josiah. Universities or institutions of higher learning need to start doing short courses that will just equip the the person to move on, you know. I mean, you don't need to spend 4 years in school. There are short courses people could do, and it just equips you on learning, and you're able to just get going. So I totally, totally agree with you, Josiah, that there are courses, short courses that people should do. Let me see if Oliver can hear me now. Oliver, are you there? Your screen is blank. Oliver, your screen is blank and dark. Could you check it out and let us know? Okay, so while we're still waiting for Oliver, I'd just like to also say that you could drop your comments, and yes, we'll read them as the program goes on. Tell us what you think we can do to um, make youth development workable in our society. A lot of times when we look at youth development, particularly in Africa, people think it's just about creating jobs, but the enabling environment is what we're not looking at. Look at the cryptocurrency issue that's been raising. I mean, if you don't empower young people to stand on their own, you're not also developing. It's not also youth development. So youth development comes with countries, government, governance empowering young people or giving them platforms to 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 grow and harness their potentials. So yes, if a country is not giving its youth education, skills, and all that, they should also make the environment friendly for their capacities to be built. You know, young people across Africa have been doing a lot for themselves. They go to school, they pay their school fees, they harness their crafts, they are into internet technology, they do a whole lot outside the four walls of the education, educational system, so to say. And if there are no policies that consciously empowers a young person, it goes back to like one step forward, three steps backwards. So young people, you find a lot of young people who come. By the way, the economy is bad. Economy is poor. Parents can't send their children to school. So you find young people who are not in school, not because they don't want to go to school, not because they don't have the prerequisite requirements for admission, but because their parents or their guardian don't have the kind of money to send them to school. So young people do what they can to make sure they go to school. And then they go to school, acquire education or certificates, and they come out no jobs. It's fine. They say, okay, they drop their certificates and they hustle in our African palace. They hustle um, to put food on their table and probably even help their aged parents. They do a whole lot, do technology, repair laptops, fix things. Look at the telecommunication industry. A lot of young people were removed from the little monies they get from the telecom industries with this name registration and blockage of SIM and all that. So policies just come and it stifles youth development. It stifles economy. It stifles growth of citizens. And let's not forget that the youth and young people don't live in isolation. Every young person has a home. Every young person is from a nuclear family of a father and mother, uncles, siblings, and all that. So when you're stifling the economy of the country, You're also, it's going down to the young person, it's going down to young people and all that. Anyway, we're still expecting your messages as we also drop your comments on the comment section and we'll be reading them. And it's a pity my guest is having network challenge and would have asked him to respond to some of them, but I'll be responding to them as they come. You can also send us text message on 080 6707 2378. That's the number to send in your message and your text message or your WhatsApp message, and we'll read them here on the program. I'll take this short break. We'll just take this short musical break and take the song. And when we come back, I'll like to see if my guest already has fixed his line. Oliver, your line is really not connecting. So keep your comments coming on the comment section. We'll read them as soon as we can. But let me just try and take this quick break and see if we can talk with Oliver and see how we can fix his line. And then we'll come back and do a whole lot here. I'll be right back.
Let's rise together and build the world we want. Let's rise together, 'cause we one big family. Let's grow together. In our weakness lies a strength. I am because of who you are. I am because of who you are. Come, let's build the world where there's no segregation. Come, let's build a world where peace and harmony reign. If we all build a nation and a world full of love, we'll be happy and blessed and strong. We'll be happy and blessed and strong. Let's rise together and build the world we want. Let's rise together, 'cause we're one big family. Let's grow together. In our weakness lies a strength. I am because of who you are. I am because of who. Let's rise to build the world we want. Let's rise, 'cause we're one big family. Let's grow. In our weakness lies a strength. I am because of who you are. I am because of who you are.
Um, yeah, so on Tuesday, on Saturday, we'll be having Adebayo Jones, UK's designer. So stick around and watch out for that episode. We also will try and see if we can get my guest Oliver Mhuriro back on air, and let's see how it goes. And some comments here that I'd have loved him to read, but let's see if we have him back so that he could read these comments, and then we'll be wrapping up the show. It's obvious his network is a bit bad today. Oliver, can you hear us? Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you more clear now.
Yeah, but your screen is blank.
Let me check my video. My camera is fine. My camera is on.
Yeah, but it's not showing on the screen. Just look at the screen. What you see is what you get, you know. It's blank here. So definitely if you look at your screen, you'll also see that is blank. It's a dark shade. But let's just go on. Let's just go on. You could just put your picture there as an avatar,
Okay.
and then we'll just go on because we're really running out of time. Yeah. Just let your picture be on the screen if the video can't come up, or if the audio sounds better without the video, then just mute your block your camera, and then put a picture there, and let's just continue. I wanted you to read a message from Josiah in UK. He sent another one a third time around, and I would have wanted you to respond to this one because he provides some solutions, and I think he's very, very um, correct with some of his submissions. So, Oliver, are you there? Hello, Oliver. Okay. So let me take the messages from the third message from Josiah Okpayemi Hamza, and it says possible solutions. Number one, right from the nursery and primary school, the curriculum should reflect what happens around them. For instance, at some point in the session, the children would go on educational visits to fire stations, hospitals, carpentry workshops, mechanics workshop, etc. Um, very, very, very correct. Yeah, we must begin to encourage young people to um, also have a second skill, aside education, So a kid who is very good in football, you know, can be tilted to push his career in football, but also be groomed to value education. So that if anything happens, or even when he retires in football, he can um, he can do consultancy, he can do a whole lot of other stuff. So I totally agree with you. Yeah, from nursery school, we need to begin to groom these young ones and make sure that they harness their skill. So it's really not just about education. We need to also harness their skill. Oliver, you are back. Can you hear us now? Hello, Oliver. Hello, can you hear us? Okay, so thank you so much, Josiah, for that. And then he said, secondly, um, ICT is an important, if not the center of learning in this day and age. Hence, a 4-year-old should be able to operate computer, laptops, phone, iPads, etc. at the very basic level, at least. This would come by appropriating it into the educational diet. Three, labor must be appreciated stroke rebranded. Students as young as 5 must visit farms, food processing companies, vegetations, etc. Arts, number 4, arts, a background check should be conducted on people who can do drawing as well as allowed to get it's not complete, so we're waiting for the concluding part of this. But thank you so much, Josiah. You're just making so many very valid and relevant points. I totally agree. And to also add, art is not just about drawings, you know. Yes, I really would say we should encourage students who draw, yes, but they should also encourage the art in form of music, you know, music, drama, acting, fashion design. These are some of the things that they should also encourage kids, you know, to go into. Kids who can draw, kids who can sketch designs and all that. We must begin to also harness the talents in that sector. So thank you so much, Josiah, for that. I truly, truly concur with you in some of these points you're raising, you know. So we must begin to encourage our children, you know, to do all this, get exposed to art, to culture, to reading, you know. We must begin to also make sure young people read. There should be a reading culture because reading is life. Is the best teacher, you know. Yes, I know people will say there are so many negative journals out there, but then there are also very good journals out there. So you wouldn't use because of one negative or disadvantage, rub it off on a whole lot of other advantages. Yeah. So thank you so much, Josiah. For anyone who has other points, just let us have it. We'll be wrapping up very soon in another 3 minutes. We'll be wrapping up at 3:15. So any of you who have anything to say, to comment, the comment section is here. Please drop your comments and we'll read them. Such a pity that our guest is having network challenge today. So we'll look for another time and bring him on and still repeat this topic. And also, um, we'll be bringing Funke Treasure sometime soon. She has a master class coming up, and I think it's very important for her to come talk about her master class, tell us how people can register, why they need to do that master class, and hopefully she will give us the link on how people can register on that master class. So yeah, I want to thank everyone. I'm still waiting if Josiah is concluding his message because he stopped at number 4, and I truly, truly concur with all of what he has said, all of his submissions. Yeah, so kids should be exposed to a whole lot. And he mentioned learning ICT. It's a very, very important one. You go to some schools, even some universities, up until now, you go to their ICT department, and you barely can find very good computers there. You know, obsolete computers that are not even functioning and all that, and you're wondering in this 21st century why this is that. You know, some schools can't even do the online trainings right now. Some are just managing to now package and do it because of the COVID-19 and why a lot of virtual things are happening, you know. So it's something we need to know. Anyway, I thank you all for joining us. I know maybe Josiah's message will come later on when we finish the show, but I really need to run right now. In another minute, I need to run. So I want to thank everyone who joined us. So sorry again on behalf of our guests whose network couldn't make him get us. He's just going off and then going blank. So we'll find time again to bring him on and see how it goes from there. I was having a chat with Mr. Oliver Mhuriro, all the way from Namibia. He was supposed to be our guest to talk about youth development and what countries can do to do all that. So thank you so much, Oliver, for just finding time to join in between in spite of the technical issues from your end. Please next time do have an alternate internet network so that you can switch easily to that one and join. You can see I've been here since uninterrupted, so it just shows that it's the network from your own end. Yeah, thank you very much. And yes, so Saturday we'll be having. I'm so excited about Saturday. We'll be talking about a whole lot. Sir Adebayo is not just a fashion designer, top designer. He's also an entrepreneur. He's a motivational speaker. He's a TV host, and we'll be talking a lot about his journey in the fashion world and all that. He's one of the top leading UK fashion designers, and he's graciously agreed to be our guest this Saturday. So Join us on Saturday as we talk extensively with him. He'll be sharing his wealth of experience with us on a whole lot of things. I've been learning as well from him. Come Saturday, God willing, and I hope you'll join us. So please, we're trying to hit 10,000 on our Facebook page. Please like our page. I'm begging, like our page. We're like 6,000 plus now. We need to hit 10,000 soon. If you can do that for us, share our page. Like our page is Shagalinku TV. Like our page on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Do subscribe on YouTube and click on the notification button so that whenever we come live here, we'll be able to you'll get a notification and then you can join us. So please like our page and let's hit 10,000 as soon as we can. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. And yes, people have been asking for my Twitter and Instagram handle. For Twitter is at Ambassador Gabari. Yeah, just type Ambassador Gabari and you see me on Twitter, on Instagram, and yes, on Facebook. Yeah. So for Ashagalinku TV, both Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, it is at Shagalinku TV. Please like all our social media handles and thank you all for that. Okay, so we'll see you all on Saturday, God willing. Take care of yourselves and have a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. God bless you all.